Well, greetings, my friends, and welcome to Begin by Praying. Now, today, I want to talk to you about one of God's greatest characteristics. Actually, all of His characteristics are greatest, and there are a couple of those the Bible tells us are reserved for God and God alone. At the top of that list would be His holiness. God is holy. He is perfection. And His holiness is what makes Him worthy to be worshipped. After that would be God's sovereignty. He created everything, and He's in total control of everything He created. You've heard me say that before. The Bible also tells us of other attributes, such as His mercy and His grace, His loving kindness and patience, and the list goes on and on. But there's one attribute of God that takes all these other characteristics and just pulls them together and gives us assurance that we can trust everything God says about Himself. And that's His faithfulness. If we had time, I could show you so many verses in God's Word that talk about His faithfulness to those who love Him. But here's my favorite, so let me share this one with you. This is in Lamentations chapter 3, starting in verse 22. Through the Lord's mercies we are not consumed, because His compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. We read a lot about God's faithfulness in His Word, because He wants us to know that we can trust Him. When He says He'll do something, He'll do it. When He makes a promise, He won't break it. When He makes a covenant, He'll never go back on it. If He went back on His word on anything that He said, then it would call into question every one of His attributes from His holiness on down. We wouldn't be able to trust anything that He tells us. His faithfulness to us is His signature that He will do what He says He will do. And like I said earlier, as we grow in our relationship with Christ, then we get to see more and more evidence every day of His faithfulness. Now, I have to admit, in my own life, it was hard for me at first to continue trusting God when I saw everything in my life just turning to dust. But this is how we grow. We have to develop patience and learn to wait on God. He is faithful to us always. It's just that He's not on our timetable, and that frustrates us. But you got to hang in there. You got to keep trusting Him. Because I want to tell you, when you get through these periods of doubt, something really cool happens, and we get to see another side of His faithfulness. He's faithful to us even when we're not. Now, in my own life, I've gone through periods of time where I stopped serving Him. I stopped worshiping. I stopped giving because I didn't see any evidence of Him moving in my life. I let my impatience and my weak faith cloud the evidence. But looking back on that, I can see now that He never stopped loving me. He never stopped taking care of me. He was faithful to me, even when I wasn't faithful to Him. So that's how I want to encourage you here today. We serve a God who is faithful through the ages. He's never gone back on a single promise He's ever made. And the Bible assures us that He who has called you is faithful, who also will do it. And you can trust those words because they came from the one who gave His life for you. I want to thank you for joining me here today, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this next week. So until then, keep your eyes on Jesus and not on your troubles. Thank you.